to another episode
Next episode
of the Thought Exchange Cafe.
Greetings and welcome to another episode coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe, where we bring you educational, motivational, and inspirational content, as well as information to help you to eliminate some of your fears. We may not be able to help you to eliminate all of them, but maybe some of them through our own life experiences and through some of the roads and decisions that we had to travel. Because trust this, there were times that we just didn't know what to do. So we had to stand still and trust. But at the same time, we had to build up enough courage to go and ask for some help. And I want to thank you for tuning in and checking me out here on this live coming to you from the Thought Exchange Cafe podcast. And I'm exclusively doing this because I know that there are folks in the community for which I live and for which I stand. They have a strong voice. They have something that they want to say. And let me say this to you, that your voice matters because you matter. Your thought matters. What you see matters, okay? Because here where you live is where you have to make decisions and choices. We can't let other people come into our community and make changes that affect us in the negative realm. So, I'm looking at YouTube, I'm looking at TikTok, and I'm seeing men and women from the communities of Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, South End, right? And these are folks who are some very powerful folks. And some of them are young folks, and some of them are just getting out of prison, but they're telling a story. And part of the story that they're telling is to keep our young folks from traveling down that specific road. Now, I was talking to someone this afternoon, and we was talking about our young folks. We was talking about our young folks being puppeted around, right, by the puppet master and not being able to truly see it, but thinking that they're doing the right thing, right? And I focus on the young folks because it's those young folks that are going to be making some decisions and some choices, right? Come down the road, come very, very soon. Because see, we as OGs, we've been around for a while, right? We've made some bad decisions. We made some poor choices. And some of us, including myself, right? I felt guilty about the things that I was seeing happening in my community today because I was part, at a particular time, I was part of that downfall. And what I mean by part of that downfall, the drinking, the hanging out on the block, and doing certain things, right, that wasn't real productive. But now I understand that then I didn't know any better. But however, now, wait a minute, let me say this. If I were to listen to my mom a little bit more, or the man that I call my pop, right? He wasn't my seed pop, but guess what? He was my pop. Why? Because he stood in the gap and he made sure, right, that we had everything that we needed, okay? And I wasn't his seed son, but he made sure that he treated me as such. And there are a lot of other men out there today that are treating these children who are not their seed as if they were, and that they are, right? They're getting up, they're going to work, they're sacrificing. And on the flip side of that coin, there are mothers out there who are taking care of children who are not theirs, but they're not judging. No, they're not. And they're not slacking off on their duty. So for them, let's give them a round of applause, okay? Because they're doing it when it's hard. The easiest thing to do is to run away. But there's a quote that says, do the hard thing and life becomes easy. Do the easy thing and life becomes hard. How many can understand that? Or how many of us have tucked the easy path, right? Only to have to go back to point A again because we missed B, C, D, E. We wanted to go from A to Z. Okay. And listen, I'm one here. Well, not listen. I'm sorry. That was a little bit aggressive. But I'm one here, right, that sits in front of you that went from A to Z, right? And I received some things, but those things I received, I didn't keep for long because I didn't do what was right in order to build my foundation to get those things. So they had to be taken away from me in order for me to say, okay, I see what I did. I missed the fundamentals. Okay. I missed the fundamentals. It's easy to move, right, without practicing the fundamentals. And some of the fundamentals are the 3 P's: patience, persistence, and positivity. But also, there's another P that comes with that: productivity. And productivity comes from consistency. Okay. Not motivation, not inspiration. Because see, you can be inspired and that wanes. You can be motivated, but that wanes. But what is one thing that you think about, right? That you don't have to be motivated or inspired for. You wake up and you're going to do it automatic. That's called discipline. That's called discipline. How many of us, right, have said we're going to do something? And then, you know, we got started, but we lost the fire. And why did we lose the fire? Some of us lost that fire because we thought that it wasn't worth it. We thought that we didn't have that internal fortitude to move to the next step. And once again, 75% of people just don't know what to do. So, anyway, I'm just saying that let's come together, right? And let's begin to educate one another, but also let's begin to re-educate one another, right? And I don't want to talk about programs because are you programmed out? Because I know I'm programmed out. Every time I look at the TV, and I don't watch much of TV anymore at all because it's all about a program. And then in my community, Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, what do we have? We have program after program after program. You know, I don't know if any one of you, if anybody listened to Malcolm X. Malcolm X has this speech. In this speech, he, excuse me, he talks about, and one day I'm going to play it. He talks about how the government, right, they want to give you a bill. And how many bills have been signed and how many bills are still getting signed because that's all they want to give you is the bill. And when you get the bill costs you. The point I'm trying to make is this: not programming, right, And I'm not talking about reprogramming. I'm talking about reestablishing a true mindset, reestablishing your true birthright mindset. I also heard, right, that we carry with us a lot of the burdens of our mothers, our fathers, our ancestors. And a lot of us still walk in those shoes of yesterday, which was okay because we need to bring some of those things back in order for our kids, right, to stay on the right path. But what has happened to some of those things or the new programming? Oh, you can't do that to your child. Oh, well, look at my child now. Are you going to take care of my child? Oh, no, you can't take care of my child. Wow. Because why? Because they have aged out. And now that they're aged out, they're out. Let's think about that. Well, let me think about that for a second, right? And once they get aged out, there's no help for them. So what happens? They go back to what they know. Folks, I'm just here to do the best I can to kind of open up a platform where we can all have a impactful voice. Because see, it's going to be your stories and your actions that's going to help change the trajectory or the outcome of the next 5 or 10 years. And 5 or 10 years, it's like going to sleep and waking up, and it's 10 years later. As leaders, because see, there's so many leaders. There's a father, there's a mother, there's a school teacher, there's an aunt, the uncle, the next door neighbor. There's so many leaders. And as leaders, we're not here to beat anybody up. We're not here to talk about what we used to do because folks don't want to hear about what you used to do. Folks want to know what you're doing now. Folks want to know what you're doing to have some influence and some impact. And they're watching. As leaders, it starts from the residents. It starts from the energy that you project. And I learned this the hard way because I was always caught up in my emotions. One thing about me, I went to school. I went to MIT, and I'm certified, and I'm a public speaker as well as a father, a community head. I sit on a board at a prestigious community center. I own a small construction company. And yes, I go to work every day because I'm not going to get lazy. I teach public speaking, but also I teach emotional intelligence because, as Les Brown said, we teach that which we need most. The more I teach it, the better I get at it. The more I teach it, the better I get at listening. Because when I listen, I learn more. See, because when I listen to understand, I listen to understand and speak to be understood. And a lot of times it's not about being the loudest person in the room because sometimes the loudest person in the room is just hiding behind something. There's a fear, there's an insecurity. But also we have to learn how to watch body language just as well too, in order to navigate that change. And what I mean by navigate that change, when we get into a conversation with someone, you have the power through the conversation that you have in your everyday walk with the people you meet in order to lead them, inspire them, to change the trajectory, because we don't know what people are going through today. And more so, getting back to our young folk. There's a study that says between the ages of 14 and 24, our young folks are riding this roller coaster. I have a son who's riding the roller coaster. But I also have to know, right, that that wave is going to settle down. And I have to be patient enough to stand back and watch it. But also, I'm giving God thanks, right, for allowing me to be present. Because there's a lot of young men and women's fathers and mothers who are not present. So we're going to have to step up and be present for them. And when I come back, I'm going to talk about a teacher of mine named Mrs. Roach, who instilled something in me to keep learning as a young boy. As a young boy, I was just like, we know kids are cruel at young ages, but yes, I was bullied going to school and coming from school, and that caused some isolation. But this teacher, she seen something in me, and she invested in me. And I believe that by God's grace, I'm still here today in front of you. By God's grace, he put her in my path then to plant a seed. And let me tell you something about planting a seed, or just explain something about planting a seed. When we plant a seed, we dig up the soil. We put that seed down in the soil, in that moist, dark soil. But on our hands, we feel it, we know it's cool down there. But when we cover it up, we know it's going to be dark just as well, too. And when we plant that seed and we begin to water that seed, we don't go back every other day and dig up that soil to see if the seed has begun to sprout roots. No, we don't. We have the faith to know that if we continue to water that seed, clean up around that seed, that it's going to grow, and something's happening beneath that earth. And once that seed begins to spread its roots up under that earth, eventually, what do? You see a breakthrough. You see a breakthrough. Plant your seed. Don't go back and dig it up, because you don't have to. Just trust. If you clean up around it and you water it, and what I mean by clean up around it, don't allow yourself, don't say one thing and then go and do another. Practice patience and faith, because that seed could be that young woman or that young man that's looking at you for guidance and leadership. Let me read you something out of Inspirational Leadership Quotes, Finding the Courage to be Led by Gifford Thomas. And Gifford Thomas is someone that you should be able to resonate with, because he's an individual that has lived the life that a lot of us are living today. As a leader, you have an incredible opportunity to change someone's life every single day. Leadership is never about tearing people down. It's all about helping people become the very best version of themselves. And I'll continue because it's only short. As a leader, you hold an extraordinary power to impact someone's life positively each and every day. Your role is not merely about making decisions and setting goals. It encompasses the profound responsibility of uplifting those around you. Leadership is fundamentally about creating an environment where individuals feel valued and encouraged to grow. It's about recognizing the unique strengths and potential within each person and guiding them on their journey. Let me repeat that, and guiding them on their journey towards becoming the best version of themselves. And I'll leave you with that because there's another study out of MIT that says that, human beings have a less attention span than a goldfish. Oh, yeah, those quick hits. Those quick hits. I'm not here to give a quick hit because I remember getting quick hits. And every quick hit I got depleted my muscle because it became weaker, not stronger. If you have something that you would like to kind of share, not kind of share, but share something that's inspirational, motivational, educational, but also that's going to eliminate some of the folks' fears through your road that you travel and some of the decisions that you had to make. And trust this, by not making a decision, you're still making a decision. You can get in contact with me at btctonytouch@gmail.com. So until I see you again, may God bless you, keep you, and stay safe.